They told you justice was blind so you could sleep at night. They called the blindfold a virtue, so you wouldn't have to look at the blood on the floor or the ink on the deeds. You were taught that not seeing color was the ultimate moral high ground. But if a doctor was blind to a wound, would you call that healing? If a judge was blind to the evidence, would you call that a fair trial? The blindfold isn't a symbol of equality. It's a tool of erasure. Go blind. Justice is how they ensure the system never has to account for the land that was taken to build your world. It's how the census records were shifted beneath your feet like quicksand. In the span of a single century, millions of people didn't just vanish. They were mathematically erased. They were reclassified, renamed, and recalculated into a category that made their claim to the soil disappear before the ink even dried. Look around at the world you call modern. You live in a house built on a legal theft, protected by a blind statue. Ask yourself, how does an entire indigenous population become foreigners on their own land in less than 3 generations? It is a mathematical impossibility. It requires a level of administrative violence that most of you are too afraid to name. You call it history, but it is an active, ongoing crime that pays you dividends every single day. When you show the evidence, they say, justice doesn't see color. When you ask for restoration, they say, that's being divisive. What you're really saying is, justice shouldn't see the evidence. The blindfold doesn't protect the innocent. It protects the inheritance. Real justice would open her eyes. She would examine the census records. She would acknowledge that the people you call minorities are actually the landlords, and you are just the tenant who stopped paying rent a long time ago. But they can't let her take that blindfold off, because the moment she actually looks at the evidence, the entire system collapses. She isn't holding scales of justice. She's holding the broken scales of justified theft. And they convinced us to celebrate it. You're not celebrating justice. You're celebrating a successful cover-up. Look at the records. Do the math. If you dare.